Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Follow Please YouTube channel. Today is Sunday, August 4th, and I'm back with the Sunday slate of games in the MLB. We're going to be looking at a few more plays for today, starting with the Baltimore Orioles going up against the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to be looking at the best play of the day between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Seattle Mariners. There's going to be 4 total player props today, the 2 best player props being towards the end of the video. I hope everybody enjoys their Sunday, and let's break down some ball. All right, guys, let's get into this graphic from Saturday night. It is 10 p.m. Central. Everything is finished. Really hot start to the day, 3-0 start, then ended 0-3. Astros team total over 4.5. Had their chances going up against Zach, but never really got anything going. Alex Bregman was really bad in that game as well. Over 1.5 bases did not cash. And then the third loser, Corey Seager, over 1.5 bases. Had a chance in the bottom of the 8th to get us on the board. Got a single, though, so did not get over 2 bases. The winners for today, Joey Cantillo, over 2.5 runs. Thank you to Jackson Holiday, who ripped a double in Joey's last at-bat, and then he came around in the 5th inning, so he did give up 3 runs, cash that one there. Yankees team total over 5.5 runs, going up against the Blue Jays earlier today. Yankees dominated this game, and then Vladdy, I did call the home run, first at-bat, over 1.5 bases, but he was so good in this game altogether. I think he had a single and a double as well, so Vladdy continues to stay hot there. 3-3 day overall, 1-2 on the best bets. Here's the updated leaderboard, 0-1 the graphic play, 1-1, or 1-1 on game picks, and then 1-1 the player props there. So overall, we're trying to get through this rough patch. Hopefully Sunday will bring us some more winners. We're going to be looking at the Guardians going up against the Baltimore Orioles as the first play today. We took this game a couple days ago and took the over. It did cash pretty easily, but this time around, I think runs will be a little bit harder to come by for the Guardians because they're going to have to go up against one of the better arms in baseball this season in Corbin Burnes. I like the O's in this game with him on the mound in the first 5 minus 0.5 as the play. And the numbers for Burnes this season, they've been really good, coming in with a 2.47 ERA and a 1.04 whip. And I'd love to say those are his best numbers of his career, but with the Brewers, he had some really good seasons, having below 1 whips and nearly below 2 ERAs back in 2020 and 2021. He has been as consistent, though, as it gets for the Baltimore Orioles this season. He typically goes 6 innings. He usually doesn't give up more than 2 runs. I can't remember the last time Corbin Burnes didn't go out there and didn't deliver 5 innings for the Baltimore Orioles. And he's coming off a really good game going up against the Blue Jays, where he went nearly 7 innings, 6 2/3. He only gave up 2 runs in that game, striking out 7. And if he gives us 2 runs or less in this game, we should be on our way to an easy win in the first 5. He is going to get a matchup going up against Gavin Williams for the Guardians, and he's been really good in some of his starts this season. He's also been really bad. He's coming into this game with a 3.72 ERA and a 1.34 whip in his sophomore year with the Guardians. In his last game going up against the Tigers, he did give up no runs in that game, going 5 innings, only allowing 2 hits. But the strange thing about Gavin this season is that he's seen that team 3 times out of his 6 starts this year. It's not too strange, I guess, because they do play each other a lot, but this is going to be the toughest test of the season for him going up against the Orioles. We have seen Gavin Williams struggle in 50% of his starts, including a start against the Chicago White Sox, where he gave up 5 runs on 7 hits back in July. He has given up 3+ runs in 50% of his starts, and most of his damage has been done before the 5th inning. I like the pitching matchup they have here. Corbin Burnes, he should set us up for success, and all we need is a couple runs for this one to cash probably. Give me the O's here on the first 5 as the play, minus 0.5 for the player prop on the screen. I'm going to switch it up. Was going to be Anthony Santander, but I'm going to take Adley Rutschman over 1.5 bases. His numbers are way better going up against left-handed pitching. Both these guys, they are switch hitters, but only Adley this season is hitting lefties above 300. He's actually hitting them 357 on the year. And with that information, we have to assume that Adley's going to be on the right side of the box in this game because Gavin Williams is also struggling just a little bit going up against righties, giving up a batting average of 254. Adley, he doesn't see a ton of left-handed pitching, only 126 at-bats on the season, but he does have 13 extra base hits against left-handed pitching and 17 extra base hits against right-handed pitching. So there's only a difference of 4 extra base hits and nearly 150 at-bats between the two sides. He obviously does better against left-handed pitching, going for extra base hits, and the batting average is 140 points better on the left side as well. I like him in this game to have over 1.5 bases. Give me him here over 1.5 bases as the play against Gavin Williams. For the best play of the day, we're going to be looking at the Philadelphia Phillies going up against the Seattle Mariners. The Phillies, ever since they traded away the key piece, Whit Merrifield, they've fallen off a cliff. Does it matter that they traded away Whit Merrifield? I'm not sure. Obviously, people online think that with him leaving, the team can no longer win games. It kind of lines up because they're currently on a 6-game losing streak, not counting the game on Saturday night because I am recording while it's still going. But what I do know about the Philadelphia Phillies is that they're a very good baseball team. If I were to put money on any team right now to win the World Series, my money would go on the Phillies. And I know they're not playing very good baseball right now. This would be a great time to buy them whenever they're at their lowest for the World Series ticket. But whenever you get into the postseason baseball, it's about experience. It's about the pitching rotation, especially the starting pitching. And it's about the big name players. There's no team who has more big name players than the Philadelphia Phillies in my mind. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Trey Young, Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto. Can I maybe interest you in maybe some Brandon Marsh with that hair? This team is absolutely loaded, and while they're not playing their best baseball right now, they are going to win this game going up against the Mariners. We're going to have Zach Wheeler back on the bump for the Phillies, coming off a brutal start going up against the Yankees, which we did back him. Zach Wheeler on the season has very few back-to-back games where he gives up more than 3 runs. I went back and looked at the games that he's given up 3+ runs and how he's performed after those games. He's only given up 3+ runs in back-to-back games one time this season, and it was at the very beginning of the year. Off of a poor performance for Zach Wheeler, he's gone 7+ innings against the White Sox, gave up no runs. After a 6-run game going up against the Marlins, he gave up 2 runs to the Nationals, going 7+ innings once again. After the Baltimore Orioles tattooed him in the middle of the season, he went up against the Arizona Diamondbacks in this game, went 7+ innings, gave up just 1 run, and finally, his last bad game of the season was against the Yankees in his last start. He gave up 7 runs off the Yankees. Now I expect him to go out there against the Mariners, go 7+ innings, giving up 2 runs or less, because that's been the trend. Big name players, especially veteran players in the rotation, they know how to bounce back. He's still coming in with a 2.94 ERA and a 1.02 whip on the season. Those are both top 10 in those categories this year in the MLB. I trust Wheeler in this game, and I do trust the bats as well for the Phillies, even though they haven't been hot as of late. The matchup is going to be going up against Logan Gilbert in the best rotation in baseball. It belongs to the Mariners, in my opinion. The only problem is that they can't get anybody across the plate usually, and that's going to be their problem once again in this game. The numbers for Gilbert, they've been good this season as well. He's coming in with a 3.11 ERA and a 0.90 whip, and he's also coming off a 7-run game going up against the Boston Red Sox. He has struggled a lot more than Zach Wheeler has through the last couple of games as well, giving up 3+ runs in 4 of the last 5 games that he's been in. I'm taking the Phillies here in this game to stop the bleeding. Give me them on the money line as the play going up against the Mariners. For the player prop on the screen, we're going to be looking at Alec Boehm to go over 1.5 bases, the double machine. Alec Boehm, he's coming into this game off of back-to-back performances, going up against the Yankees and the Mariners, having a couple hits in both those games, collecting 4 in total. That has brought his batting average up to nearly 300 on the season. He's hitting 297 now, and against right-handed pitching, he's even better. He's hitting 313. This man, he only knows how to hit extra base hits, and mostly he only knows how to hit doubles. He has 39 on the season, the most in the majors. He has 29 of those doubles going up against right-handed pitching, including 2 triples and 7 home runs, rounding him out to 38 total extra base hits against right-handed pitching this season. I like him in this game to continue to swing the lumber well going up against the righties. Give me him over 1.5 bases here as the play. Let's go over to the best player props of the day. We are going to be starting with the batting prop. Give me Brian Reynolds to go over 1.5 bases, getting the matchup going up against Ray Nelson. This is as good as a matchup as you can ask for, but we are going to start with the numbers for Nelson on the season. First of all, I wanted to point out that he has 6 total pitches in his arsenal. That's far too many in my opinion. It's always nice to have a pitcher who can throw 6 pitches, but if you're asking me, I'd rather have a guy who can throw 3, maybe 4 really good pitches instead of a guy who can throw 6 mediocre pitches. Despite him throwing 6 total pitches on the season, he throws the fastball 54% of the time and the cutter 19% of the time, which is basically the same pitch depending on how much your fastball does move. Looking at the numbers for him on the season, he has a 4.53 ERA, a 1.36 whip, and he's coming off a really good game going up against the Nationals. That really shouldn't count. That was the night the Nationals gave up, I think it was 17 runs. 17 runs. Yeah, 17 runs. They weren't very competitive going up against Nelson. They were down by double-digit runs in the first 2 innings, and they just wanted to get out of there thanks to Patrick Corbin. Ray Nelson has given up 3+ runs in 2 of the last 4 games that he's been in, and I do think he's going to give up a lot of hits and runs in this game going up against the Pirates. The reason I went with Brian Reynolds over anybody else is because he's been extra hot at the plate over the last couple months, and he does hit right-handed pitching very well. It's a 289 batting average going up against the right side with 32 extra base hits, and we're going to see that fastball and cutter nearly 75% of the time tonight. The fastball is one of the best pitches that he hits. He hits at 336. The cutter is just a little bit worse. He's hitting at 316 on the season. I expect a couple base knocks in this game out of Reynolds. Give me his over 1.5 bases as the play here. For the pitching prop today, we're going to be looking at the Cubs going up against the St. Louis Cardinals. Justin Steele, under 2.5 runs as the play, and I've been watching the Cubs and Cardinals series over the last couple of days. I'm not sure if I'm seeing good baseball being played or just 2 bad teams who are making each other look a little bit better. On Saturday, the Cubs had the game wrapped up 4-2 in the 8th inning. It was just another classic Cubs moment where they had a fly ball in the top of the 8th that just dropped in between Nico Horner and whoever was playing center field at the time. I know it wasn't Suzuki. It wasn't to right field. It might have been Armstrong out there. I'm not sure if he got pinch hit in the game, but it doesn't really matter who was out in the field. The Cubs let a routine fly ball hit the ground once again. The Cardinals, they were to make 2 runs out of that in the top of the 8th. They went on to win that game in the top of the 9th. And it's just another classic Cubs game where they had it all wrapped up and they decided to lose the game with their defense. The exact same thing happened on Thursday night with the Cardinals because they had the game wrapped up. An error in the outfield and poor pitching in the ninth inning led to the Cubs walking it off, scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. So I don't know if these teams are good or if both of these teams are just bad and they're making each other look good. What I do know to be true is that both of these teams on the season have struggled to hit the ball. Those are the facts. And Justin Steele has been one of the best players on the Cubs organization for the last several years. I think he's going to shut down the Cardinals in this game because the Cardinals, they cannot hit the fastball whatsoever. And we're going to see that in the slider about 90% of the time out of Justin Steele. The Cardinals this season, they only have one player, Wilson Contreras, who has a plus run value going up against the fastball. Everybody else on the team is brutally bad going up against the fastball. And only one player has a batting average above 300. Ivan Herrera, he's not even in the starting lineup tomorrow. Everybody else is hitting between 260 and 120. And remember, Justin Steele, he throws that about 55% of the time. For the slider, we do have a few players that are a little bit better with that pitch, having 2 total players having a plus run value, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman. But again, we have only one player hitting above 300. Everybody else is mediocre going up against that pitch. Justin Steele this season for the Cubs, he's been good all year. He's coming in with a 3.38 ERA and a 1.11 whip, and he has had a couple bad starts in a row. But again, good pitchers, they find a way to bounce back. He's a good player. I'm taking him in this game under 2.5 runs as the play. Let's go over to the graphic recap for tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the Orioles. First 5 minus 0.5 going up against the Guardians. We've got not Anthony Santander, Adley Rutschman over 1.5 bases going up against the Guardians. Alec Boehm over 1.5 bases going up against the Mariners. Phillies on the money line. If it's under minus 135, I'm going to take them on the money line. If not, I'm going to take them on the first 5. Brian Reynolds over 1.5 bases in that matchup against the D-backs. And then Justin Steele under 2.5 runs going up against the St. Louis Cardinals. Guys, that's going to do it. The MLB picks and props for Sunday, August 4th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.